He's probably been our most productive defensive back all camp, which means he gets a lot of hands on balls, batted balls. He knocked down balls. He had picks. That was Kirby Smart talking about Malachi Starks, probably Georgia's second best player coming into this season in 23. That was him talking about Malachi after Malachi's first game as a Georgia Bulldog against Oregon in 2022. I guess it was some time ago. Now, look, we've been back and forth with Malachi a lot. He's local in Jefferson, which is, for those of you not really familiar with Athens area, that's about 25 minutes at most north of Athens, so not far at all. A really, really good athletic high school. The Dragons, they've been very good for some time. Sammy Brown is there right now. He was at Commerce, which is another good athletic high school. Jefferson just has really been very good for a long time and a lot of stuff. You can tell it's a really very good community school. The point is, when Malachi was up there, we had the ability to go watch him play a lot, talk to him, talk to his family. He was as prepared a recruit for college as I can remember. There are some other guys that I'm thinking of, but Malachi, just I think emotionally, etc., was totally ready, prepared, for what was coming his way. Didn't have to play quarterback. Well, he played quarterback at Jefferson, but he didn't have to play quarterback in college. So he was the question with Malachi was how good is this guy going to be? How good was he going to be? He might be he might be the best defensive back that Kirby has at Georgia and has had at Georgia over time. And that he's had some really good defensive backs. But listen to these statistics, okay? This is pretty amazing if you think about it. Malachi Starks on the team that just won the national championship, okay? Malachi on this team, the team that won the national championship just now, as a true freshman and as a defensive back, had the third most tackles on the team. He had the third most tackles on the team as a defensive back and as a true freshman. That is pretty exceptional, if I do say so myself. That is pretty amazing accomplishment. Now, he finished third on the team for interceptions with 2. Christopher Smith had 3. I think Keeley had 2 as well. In terms of pass breakups, he and Keeley both had 7, so they had the most there. He's not going to be high up on quarterback hurries in some of these other statistics, but the play all you need to remember about Malachi Starks, we don't put it in the book, but we write about it, is the moment really probably of Georgia's early season was the play that Malachi made running down a running back who was about to score a touchdown. And instead of, going up 20-3, Malachi Starks stopped that. And here's from Ryan Curley, who wrote about it in Double Dogs. He says, the play of the game prevented Missouri from extending its early game lead. Mizzou running back Cody Schrader broke loose for a huge gain and with the end zone at his fingertips. But true freshman safety Malachi Starks ran him down and tackled him just short of the goal line. It was one of the several jaw-dropping athletic plays that Starks made in his freshman campaign, but others did not hold the importance that his clutch rundown tackle did. Now listen, if Missouri goes up 20-3, I don't know if Georgia wins that game. They probably still win that game, but there's a pretty big difference between 20-3 and 16-3 because remember later in the half, Jack Panesley comes down and kicks a kicks a field goal to cut it to 10. And Georgia was really just offensively was not good that night. Stetson did not look right. He seemed like he was injured or whatever. But when Malachi made that play, it bought them 4 points. Hey, listen, by the way, and you need to pick up Double Dogs below, but make sure you go into Red Zone in Athens. I know this week is spring break on campus, but if you're just out and about, head on over to Red Zone. At some point soon, we will have Double Dogs as well as Dog Struction at Red Zone. But there's exclusive stuff that they've got that you cannot get anywhere else. We've talked about it. The PE sweatshirt that I've got right there. Well, I'll just show it to you real quick. The stuff like this, you're not going to get this on Fanatics and places like that, y'all. They don't have them. Okay, this is made special for Red Zone, so pick it up there today. It's a little warm for me today to wear a sweatshirt, but I do run in it, if you must know. When Malachi ran him down, it gave Georgia a boost of energy that they were missing in that game. I've talked about this in talking about Double Dogs, the book. You could write a book about Georgia's game against Ohio State. In fact, I feel like at some stage in the next, if I live long enough, I will write a book about just that game, because that game was so epic in ways that the Rose Bowl was not. Obviously, it was not the same scene. It was not the pageantry of college football, everything you're used to. But the Ohio State game is one of the most important moments in Georgia history. And it would have been one of the most important moments in Ohio State history, too, for the record. They just lost. The Missouri game, you could probably write a pretty good book about it, too. But the difference in that was you see games like the Missouri game, they happen in seasons. I mean, Florida lost to Ole Miss in 2008. 2008, and they went on to win the national championship. Now, that was one of the best Florida teams I've ever seen, but looking back on it, I mean, that was not a great Ole Miss team, and you lost to them at home. Um, you know, Alabama in 2012, one of the best Alabama teams ever, and they lost to a Texas A&M team that was good. It was good. Johnny Manziel was exceptional. But you have these types of games in seasons. I mean, Miami in 2001 or 2 had to survive Boston College on the road. I very much remember that game and watching them win in the freezing cold. But what Malachi did that night shows that, like, he didn't think about it. He just did it. He didn't think, oh my gosh, we're going to go down 20. No, no, no. He wasn't doing math. He was just going. And, you know, having watched him play enough, and seeing how Malachi's been through plenty, okay? I'm not going to get into all the details, maybe some other time. But Malachi's been through plenty, so he's sort of prepared in a way. Some of this stuff's not going to phase him. The play against Oregon was exceptional, where he made that interception. The play against Missouri was, I mean, more important, perhaps as amazing. But this guy's coming back as one of the best players on Georgia's team. He will be if he escapes the first round of the NFL draft, I would be very surprised right now. I mean, something strange would have to happen in my mind. He's just that good. And he is that good. He is that productive. I mean, there's just not a lot of questions about that guy. Being the third leading tackler on a team that has linebackers like Jamon Dumas Johnson and Ismail Munden, I mean, those guys aren't going to let they're not going to let ball carriers get to the third level. They're just not going to get so that he had that many plays is, I mean, impressive. I mean, you've got a young group in this secondary that is returning with Starks, Javon Bullard, and Kamari Lassiter, just like the younger guys that are going to be a lot of trouble for people over time. And a lot of the secondary is based on, what you're doing up front. I should add, Dan Jackson comes back to this group. So it's never going to, you lose Keeley, that matters. You lose Christopher Smith, but you keep those guys back. You keep Starks back. Just like I said, you're returning Dan Jackson. You get Starks back, you get Bullard back, and you get Lassiter back. I mean, that's four guys that have played. I don't know if Dan started in the national championship game, but the other three did. So that's a lot of experience coming back, and they're going to get tested. They always do. But man, Malachi Starks, stud.